The Galactic Council chamber was filled with unease, the ambient hum of holographic displays a faint backdrop to the heated debate. Delegates of various species argued over the dire situation at hand. The Vrokan Horde, an aggressive and technologically superior force, had begun a ruthless campaign, obliterating entire systems without warning or mercy. The devastation was unparalleled, leaving planets stripped of life, their surfaces scorched into lifeless husks. They will not stop until the galaxy kneels, declared Archon Kvar, his chitinous exoskeleton reflecting the dim light. We must act decisively or all we have built will fall. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Each species had suffered losses, but none had been able to match the Horde's sheer ferocity. The Council's fleets were advanced, yet they were no match for the Horde's brutal efficiency. As the delegates squabbled over solutions, Trell of the Kyrians, a slender, silver-skinned diplomat, stepped forward. There is one option, Trell said, voice measured but carrying weight. An option most of you will reject outright, yet it is the only path to survival. We hire humans. The chamber fell silent. The word hung in the air like an accusation. To many in the galaxy, humans were an anomaly, a young species, often underestimated because of their small stature and short lifespans. Yet beneath the surface of these assumptions lay whispers of their violent adaptability. Humans? Scoffed Delegate Gorith, a bulky Lutherian with scales like molten rock. They are primitives. Unpredictable. Their technology barely qualifies as advanced. Unpredictability is exactly what we need, Trell countered, fixing Gorith with an unflinching gaze. The Horde has studied our strategies. They exploit our predictable methods. Humans, however, fight without rules. They do not stop. They do not falter. They win no matter the cost. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. Stories of human brutality were rare, but they carried weight. It was said they fought wars even among their own kind with relentless determination, never ceasing until one side was utterly broken. But this was different. This was the Galactic Council, an assembly of enlightened species, and the idea of bringing in a race so infamous for their ruthlessness was unthinkable. You're asking us to invite chaos into our ranks, another delegate protested. Their methods could destabilize everything we've worked to build. Trell's expression remained calm, though his silver eyes gleamed with intensity. If we do nothing, there will be no ranks left to destabilize. The Vrokan Horde is already destabilizing us. Humans are not chaos, they are controlled destruction. And there is one among them, a figure they call the Baba Yaga. A mercenary of unparalleled skill. If you want the Horde stopped, you will call them? The room erupted into a cacophony of objections, but Trell raised his voice above the din. I will stake my reputation, my life, on this decision. Summon the Baba Yaga. Let humanity show us what they are truly capable of. After a tense vote, the Council reluctantly agreed. A transmission was sent to Earth. As the message echoed through the void, Trell whispered, they will learn why humanity fears its own legends. The docking bay was eerily silent as the human ship arrived, a sleek black vessel with sharp, angular lines that seemed to absorb the light around it. It was smaller than the grand warships of the other species, but its design exuded menace and precision. The atmosphere shifted as the hatch opened, and a single figure stepped out. The Baba Yaga was clad in an exosuit that gleamed like polished obsidian, the surface marked with faint scars that hinted at countless battles. The suit's helmet was faceless, reflecting the distorted forms of the gathered delegates. No one could see the human's face, and that only made the figure more unnerving. The presence of this lone human seemed to fill the vast docking bay, shrinking even the largest species present. You summon me, the voice said, cold and precise, each word clipped with an efficiency that matched the figure's movements. It was impossible to determine gender or emotion through the distorted filter of the suit's speakers. The Baba Yaga walked forward, and the council members instinctively stepped back. Trell, the Kyrian ambassador, was the only one to remain still. We face an enemy that none of us can defeat. You have been called to do what we cannot. The Baba Yaga tilted their head slightly, the faceless helmet giving nothing away. The Vrokan Horde. I've seen the reports. You don't need a soldier, you need a scalpel. Gorith, the Lutherian delegate, let out a derisive snort. And you believe you're the answer? A single human? The Baba Yaga turned toward Gorith, and though no expression was visible, the weight of their gaze was palpable. I don't believe. I know. Your fleets are predictable, your strategies transparent. The Horde will dismantle you piece by piece because they understand how you think. They've fought civilizations like yours before. But they've never fought something like me. The room fell into an uneasy silence. Gorath, despite his towering stature, said nothing more. The Baba Yaga walked to the center of the bay, a holographic display materializing as they interfaced with the Council's systems. The battle plans of the Horde unfolded, and the human's voice grew sharper. They use fear to paralyze you. Their attacks are precise not just in tactics but in psychology. They destroy not just your fleets but your morale. They leave survivors to spread terror, ensuring that the next fight is already lost before it begins. And what will you do differently? Trell asked. The helmeted figure paused, studying the holograms. I'll turn their own fear against them. I'll cut off the head of the snake and let the body flail. But you don't get to question my methods. You hired me to win. That's all I'll do. One of the younger delegates spoke hesitantly. And what will you need from us? Stay out of my way, the Baba Yaga said simply. I work alone. No oversight. No interference. If you cannot accept that, then your survival ends here. The council exchanged uneasy glances. Trell stepped forward. You will have what you need. But understand there are lines we do not cross. The helmet turned toward him. You've already crossed them by calling me? Without waiting for a response, the Baba Yaga turned and walked back toward their ship, the air heavy with tension. As the hatch sealed shut, a voice came through the comms. When the Horde sees me, they won't be fighting for conquest. They'll be fighting for escape. Prepare your fleets to watch a lesson in fear. The Vrokan fleet descended upon the colony with their usual ferocity. Massive dreadnoughts blotted out the sky, raining fire upon the planet's surface. Smaller strike ships darted between defenses, dismantling them with surgical precision. The Galactic Council's forces had been deployed in desperation, their ships forming a brittle defensive line in orbit. It was a hopeless effort and the Vrokan commanders knew it. This world, like so many others, would fall. But then the human vessel arrived. It emerged from subspace in a blinding flash, smaller than even the Vrokan's lightest cruisers. Its black hull shimmered briefly before disappearing from visual detection entirely. The Council fleets, battered and failing, hesitated as the human ships sliced through the chaos, ignoring their defensive formation entirely. Vrokan sensors scrambled to locate the vessel, but it moved too fast, slipping through the gaps in their formation with precision that bordered on impossible. The first strike was devastating. A single projectile launched from the human ship struck the Vrokan flagship, detonating in a silent explosion that sent shockwaves through space. The blast didn't just destroy, it disabled. Systems across the fleet flickered and died as the flagship's core overloaded, sending an EMP pulse rippling outward. Vrokan ships faltered, their formations collapsing as they struggled to regain control. The Council's fleet watched in stunned silence. This was no ordinary attack. Every move the human made was calculated, each strike crippling not just ships but the Horde's cohesion. Within minutes, the Vrokan's numerical advantage was reduced to chaos. On the planet's surface, the situation was equally grim. For the Horde, the Baba Yaga had landed ahead of the fleet, deploying with a team of silent, faceless human operatives. They struck with an efficiency that defied belief, using guerrilla tactics to dismantle the Vrokan's ground forces. Explosions erupted in the Horde's supply lines, their fortified positions reduced to rubble before they even understood what was happening. The Vrokan were warriors, bred and trained for conquest, but they were unprepared for this. The humans didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like predators. Every strike was precise, targeting weak points with surgical accuracy. Horde commanders were the first to fall, their deaths broadcast to their troops in cold, calculated displays. In orbit, the human ship continued its assault, weaving through the fleet like a shadow. It struck with weapons the Council had never seen before, silent, targeted, and devastating. Each hit was a statement. Resistance was futile. Panic began to spread. The Vrokan, who had built their empire on fear, now found themselves consumed by it. Ships began to break formation, some retreating into hyperspace without orders. On the ground, Vrokan soldiers abandoned their posts, running from an enemy they couldn't see, couldn't predict. The Baba Yaga's voice cut through the Council's communications, cold and detached. Your enemy is breaking. Sweep the stragglers. I'll handle the rest. The Vrokan flagship attempted one last stand, rallying its remaining forces. But the Baba Yaga was already aboard, moving through the corridors like a ghost. By the time the Council forces reached the flagship's wreckage, it was over. The Horde had been shattered. The galaxy would remember this day, not as a victory for the Council, but as the day humanity unleashed its deadliest weapon, fear itself. The chamber was silent as the Council reconvened, the weight of what they had witnessed pressing heavily upon them. The Vrokan Horde had been utterly routed, their fleets scattered, their leaders annihilated. Yet, as the delegates sat in their seats, none spoke of victory. The carnage had been efficient, almost clinical, but it left a lingering unease that no one dared voice. Trell finally broke the silence. The Horde is defeated. Their forces are in disarray. We owe our survival to humanity. There was no applause, no cheers of agreement. Gorith leaned forward, his voice low but trembling with anger. At what cost? Did you see what they did? That wasn't a battle, it was slaughter. The Baba Yaga didn't just defeat them. They destroyed them, dismantled them piece by piece. The fear they unleashed will ripple through the galaxy for generations. Trell met his gaze without flinching. And that fear is why we're alive. The Horde left survivors to spread terror. The humans left none to fight back. You may call it slaughter, Gorith, but to them it's survival. Their history is built on fighting against extinction. They did exactly what was necessary. Across the table, a delegate with soft, luminous eyes spoke in a hushed tone. What's to stop them from turning that ruthlessness against us? If they can destroy the Horde so easily, what happens if we ever stand in their way? Trell sighed, glancing toward the empty chair at the end of the chamber where the Baba Yaga had briefly sat before departing. That's the risk we took the moment we called for them. But understand this, humans don't seek conquest. They don't want to rule. They want to survive, and they will go to any lengths to ensure they do. Outside the chamber, the Baba Yaga prepared to leave. The payment had been received, the contract fulfilled. The black exosuit was as pristine as it had been upon arrival, save for faint streaks of ash that even the advanced alloys couldn't conceal. The human moved with the same silent confidence, their presence as commanding as ever. Before boarding their ship, Trell approached, his silver eyes flickering with hesitation. You've given us a victory we couldn't have achieved ourselves. But you've also shown us something terrifying. The helmeted figure paused, the faceless visor reflecting Trell's form. War is always terrifying. You called me because you couldn't stomach what needed to be done. Now it's finished. Next time you'll think twice before calling humans? Trell swallowed hard. Is there always a cost with your kind? Always, the Baba Yaga replied. Victory is never clean. And peace is never free. Without another word they disappeared into the ship, the hatch sealing shut. As the vessel lifted off, its black hull blending into the void, Trell felt a weight settle over him. He knew the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. In the following weeks, the ripple effects of the battle became clear. Stories of the Baba Yaga spread across the galaxy, growing darker with each retelling. The Vrokan Horde's defeat became less a tale of salvation and more a warning. When the Council had reached its breaking point, they had turned to humanity, and humanity had shown them what it meant to fight without limits. For many, it was a lesson in desperation. For others, it was a glimpse of a far greater threat. And for Trell, it was a reminder of the final words the Baba Yaga had spoken before leaving. Fear is a weapon. Use it wisely or it will destroy you.